Greetings and hello everybody, welcome back to the middle of the order. We are here, it is Friday, and we're talking another team in our TOP list, and it is your Cincinnati Reds. And I'm kind of excited for the Reds this year. I don't know, something about them, it's refreshing, it's young, it's enticing to be a Reds fan this year, and this is without a certain somebody as well, a fan favorite and a lifelonger. So we'll dive right on in and start talking about these Reds, who had a very on and off 2023 season. It started really off, losing both Hunter Green and Nick Lodolo early to injury. But then the rookies were incredible for the Reds last year. Any single person that they called up was a factor into this Reds run, and especially after the All-Star game, that series against the Dodgers, very memorable. They finished 82 and 80 last year, one game above 500. They were 9th in runs for, 25th in ERA, and 23rd in runs against. They finished 3rd in the NL Central, 8th in the NL as a whole, and 16th in MLB. They should have had the 14th round, or excuse me, not 14th round, the 14th pick in the first round, but they're the second biggest winners after the Guardians, and they're shooting from 14 all the way up to pick number 2, which is really great if you're a Reds, man. That's fantastic news, and helps you guys out a lot. It's really great. So be excited for that as well. Let's start and talk about who are they adding to the 2024 roster, and it starts with a new third base / first base, Yeimer Candelario. Was a Cub, was a Tiger. He was a National, did it all last year, but he is now a Red for 2024. They grab Nick Martinez, Emilio Pagan, how about Frankie Montas, as well as Brent Sutter. Edwin Rios they picked up for the minors for now, and then a couple of fun non-roster invitee guys, Tony Kemp, Mike Ford, Josh Harrison, and how about Tyler Gilbert? Yeah, if anyone remembers his name from, I believe it was the 2022 season, maybe even last year, I'm not exactly sure. I'll pull that up really quickly. Who they're losing, some guys here that is definitely knowable. Hunter Renfroe, gone. Nick Senzel, he's out. Harrison Bader's gone. Kurt Casale, Will Myers, Kevin Newman, and of course the big one that hurts the most here, Joey Votto, lifelong Reds, is gone, and Tyler Gilbert, he threw a no-hitter in his first ever start in 2021, so it was a year ahead of that. But yes, Joey Votto, gone. The big production booster in the Reds offense for the last how many years, and he is no longer with them as of right now. He has still remained unsigned. His Instagram, he's been posting shopping cart stuff. He's just got so much free time right now. He just wants to be in spring training, and unfortunately no team yet has taken on the challenge of signing the soon-to-be 40-year-old. But he's had some great years. He's posted 4 seasons with an OPS over 1,000. You know, he's been an MVP, a 6-time All-Star. He is one of the better players, not only in Reds history, but in baseball as a whole. So hopefully some team will give him at least one more season to go out properly. Let's take a look at that Reds rotation now, because it's interesting. Starting things off, a first round second pick guy, Hunter Green, flamethrower, got that fast fastball. He is the ace of that staff right now. Then you have Graham Ashcraft in the 2-hole, Frankie Montas at 3, Andrew Abbott at 4, and then Nick Martinez rounds out that rotation. That also includes Nick Lodolo, but however, he is still dealing with his injury going back to May of last year. He is questionable for opening day, but it looks like he is going to start it at least on the injured list for the first little bit, but I'm sure it won't be a long stint if he does end up on that IL. The bullpen features Edwin Diaz's brother Alexis Diaz as the closer there. Then the two new guys they brought on, Emilio Pagan and Brent Sutter. Lucas Sims has been around for a while now. Fernando Cruz, the rookie last year, Buck Farmer, and then TJ Antone as well. So some guys that you definitely know. The lineup. If you don't follow the NL Central, if you don't follow the Reds, you might not know some of these guys, but let me tell you, some of these guys deserve to be talking about. TJ Friedl leads things off out in center field. Then Matt McLain playing second base, batting second. Spencer Steer listed as left fielder, batting third. Then we have Yaimer Candelario, bats fourth at first base. Ellie De La Cruz, the shortstop, batting fifth. Tyler Stevenson, the catcher, bats sixth. Will Benson, right fielder, bats seventh. Christian Encarnacion Strand, listed here, batting eighth as a DH. And then Noelvi Marte, listed third baseman, batting ninth. The bench has Luke Maley, Jonathan India, Stuart Fairchild, and Jake Fraley. Outside of Luke Maley and Yaimer Candelario, who have both over 6 years of service time, most of the guys haven't hit 2 yet. Friedel, McLean, Steer, Ellie, Benson, Encarnacion, Marte, Fairchild, 8 of the 13, if you include the lineup and the bench, projected by Fangraphs, don't even have 2 years. All young rookies and young players in general. And these are names that we've already, heard of, and we've already seen a little bit in the majors last year. The Reds featured plenty of rookies, and some were really sensational, really. Guys like Ellie De La Cruz, Matt McLain, Spencer Steer, Andrew Abbott, Brandon Williams, who right now is listed in the minors as a starter, and then Fernando Cruz, part of that bullpen as well. It was really interesting because of how many injuries they had and because of how the season progressed. They got to try out and bring up a lot of these rookies. And that's not even listing Will Benson, Christian Encarnacion Strand, Noelvi Marte. So, I mean, the Reds team is full of rookies and fun guys, and I think it's just going to be a matter of, continuing. Because, I mean, not all these players are going to have better years or continue to progress. I'm sure one or two might, stay the same or maybe even have a sophomore slump. But, I mean, with this much talent, Christian Encarnacion Strand and Noelvi Marte batting 8th and 9th, and those guys, for me, are the fun ones to watch this year. So, the rotation was rocky at the beginning of last year with Green and Lodolo going out, but that gave you an opportunity to see Andrew Abbott and Brandon Williamson, who were doing really well for the Reds and helped them get to one game above 500, and they still get a second-round pick. Everything was perfect last year for the Reds, so you have to kind of wonder, how can it not be perfect this year? Going off the injuries again, a couple other things to mention here. Some of those guys are dealing with injuries. Emilio Pagan had a sports hernia surgery, but he is questionable and should be projected for the opening day roster. Jonathan India, he's projected for the 26-man roster opening day. Then Matt McLain, he's got a strained oblique. He should also be good for opening day. So some slight injuries to be watching with the Reds already, but all projected to be healthy and good for opening day. Taking a quick a quick little glimpse into the future at the end of this year, the free agents that they have. 2 guys come off the list, Buck Farmer and Lucas Sims, both are free agents. Frankie Montas has a mutual option for $20 million. It's going to be interesting to see how he pitches this year. Couple club options for the team, including Luke Maley and Brent Sutter. And then some player options, Nick Martinez and Emilio Pagan get a say if they want to stay with the Reds this year or not. All right, let's dive in. Let's talk about some of these players, some of these rookies, because all these guys, when you look at the Rookie of the Year voting, Corbin Carroll was unanimous and easily won. Senga and Elman followed him. But after that, Matt McLain finished 5th. Spencer Steer finished 6th. Ellie De La Cruz finished 8th. So, you can easily say that these kids made an impression and have good chances to continue to grow and help this Reds team out. I mean, when you look at it on the NL Central for standings, they have the second best odds after the Cardinals, and the Cardinals really struggled last year. So I don't know. I mean, it's the same as the Cardinals, where it's like I really like the lineup, but if the pitching was just a little bit better, I would be more inclined to jump on the Reds here. 2023, we're starting with Elly De La Cruz, 98 games, got called up midway through the season, and he was a huge spark to that Reds offense when he did. He hit a cycle in his first 15 games. Like, it was electric, really. 15 doubles, 7 triples, 13 home runs, 44 ribbies, a 235 batting average, a 710 OPS. Strikeouts were a little high at 144. I think he needs to try to cut back on those. But overall, I mean, the Reds ballpark, you can hit triples, and he has the speed to do so. He was a contributor, did kind of struggle towards the end of the season, so that's where some of the question marks can be made entering 2023. But as a whole, I mean, Elly's might be a new future piece and the new like star Red, kind of not to replace Votto, but take the torch from him in a way of you've done your part, now it's let me do mine for the team. But he was great. He was the most known rookie entering 2023. But then these two guys, Spencer Steer and Matt McLain, they kind of appeared out of thin air. Never really heard of them, even though they did get a little bit of time in 2022. We'll talk about Spencer Steer here first. 2023, last year, 156 games. He was healthy. He was there day one, and he was great. 158 hits, 23 home runs, 86 RBIs, a 271 batting average, an 820 OPS. Really great numbers from Spencer Steer. I mean, he kind of just showed, kind of like appeared one day on the team and was just really great. And I think, obviously a lot of these guys got their chances last year due to the injuries and due to the struggles that the Reds were having with their on-the-field talent. But we got to see different talent that the Reds had from their farm system that, a lot of these guys are ready, and the Reds kind of had to shift their plans, and that's why a lot of these guys will be ready to go in 2024. And they went out and they got some pitching to help. Frankie Montas, Nick Martinez, like not any ace like materials where they're replacing Hunter Green or Nick Lodolo, but guys in the back end where you don't have to go down to take your whole AAA farm system's rotation because all of your guys got hurt. Matt McLain here, 89 games last year, 106 hits in 89 games, 16 home runs, a 290 batting average, and an 864 OPS. I mean, he was the one who kind of really impressed. Came up a little bit later than Steer did, but put up just as good as hitting numbers in the less time that he had. He's the one who finished 5th in the Rookie of the Year voting, so he was great, an absolute star. And these three together make up a really nice tandem there that the Reds have, including some of the other rookies that they have that are just not like there, that like were part of that trio of rookies that were being talked about. TJ Friedl, he's been playing and trying to get into the league since 2021, debuted there. But last year was kind of his breakout year. He got to play a lot more games and had a lot more success. 138 games, 136 hits, a 279 batting average, an 819 OPS, 18 home runs. His most games, his highest OPS, his highest batting average outside of his first year were in the 14 games. He had a 290 instead of a 279. But still, just a great year for Friedl, who, will finally get his opportunity. And, with Senzel, I mean, Senzel was kind of that rookie that was supposed to start things for the Reds back in, I think, 2018, 2019. And, after a great first year and an okay second year, he kind of wasn't the same after that, and ever since the COVID years. And now you look at all these players, it's like, wow, who's going to replace who now? Like, it's fun. Tyler Stevenson, he's been around the longest, probably, outside of, Yammer Candelario. With Votto gone, he got his chance to debut in 2020, played 8 games. Then 2021, he had a great year, finished 6th in Rookie of the Year voting. 2022, dealing with some injuries, didn't play much. But then last year, he was there, he was healthy, but he did struggle in compared to his previous years. 142 games, 113 hits, a 243 batting average, the lowest of his career, a 696 OPS, the lowest of his career, and 13 home runs. So definitely a little bit of a poor year for Tyler Stevenson than years past, but I I think, now that he's kind of got back from injury a little bit more and he's more feeling himself, I think he'll be able to be a bigger contributor into 2024, like he was when he first debuted in 2020 2022 when he was healthy. He was putting up great numbers there. An 8.54 OPS in 50 games, a 3.19 batting average. So he was really good and is set to be the catcher, and I think he is a great catcher. We just hope that he has a better year than he did last year. Taking a quick break from some of the pitchers, or sorry, some of the players, let's talk about this dynamic duo in the rotation, Hunter Greene and Nick Lodolo. At first, when Hunter Greene came up in the league last year, 2022, people were thinking, I don't know, is he going to be anything? And the numbers suggest that he isn't. In his 2 years with the Reds, 2022 and last year, he's 9-20, a 4.62 ERA in 46 starts, 237 innings pitched, 316 strikeouts. Now listen, the numbers might not suggest it, but Hunter Greene is a good pitcher. When he's on it, he is striking hitters out. He's limiting the ball. For me, it's about getting the home run numbers down. 43 in those 2 years, little high. But, I mean, he's got the stuff. He just needs a little bit more time, a little bit more reps, and he will start to figure things out real slowly. Nick Lodolo, on the other hand, he kind of figured things out right away, but then obviously dealing with some injuries, he ended up slumping a little bit. 2022 finished 6th in Rookie of the Year voting in his 2 years from 2022 and the little bit he played in 2023. He's 6-8, a 4.31 ERA in 26 starts. That's because his 2022 ERA was 3.66, and the 2023 ERA in his 7 games, 6.29, obviously was dealing with something there. 137 innings pitched and 178 strikeouts. So both these guys strike out their batters. They just need to work on limiting the runs. The Reds were obviously super high in ERA and runs against last year, being 25th and 23rd. But 9th in runs for. So obviously the offense isn't the problem. It's getting a more consistent, starts out of their pitchers. It starts with Hunter Greene, and then when Nick Lodolo comes back healthy, he's going to need to continue that torch. Obviously, there's some guys there now that there's a little bit more faith in. Graham Ashcraft, Andrew Abbott, if he could have another good year and continue from his rookie sensation, last year. And then, of course, the 2 guys they picked up, Frankie Montas and Nick Martinez. So, I mean, we're talking about a very nice, Reds rotation here. And we haven't even mentioned yet the 2 kind of newer rookies. I don't know if Encarnacion graduated or not, but Christian Encarnacion-Strand and Noelvi Marte, I mean, these guys came up and they were just producing towards the end where I thought the Reds were going to make the postseason with the run they were going on. Encarnacion-Strand, 63 games, 13 home runs, a 270 batting average, an 805 OPS. I mean, just a pure hitter. He was great. Had a couple of, I think he had a walk-off home run, or a walk-off in general. Like, he's ready to go. He's going to be a big contributor this year. Noelvi Marte. We talked about this guy, he used to be Mariners' top prospect, traded over in the Luis Castillo trade. Last year got 35 games, 36 hits, a 316 batting average, an 822 OPS. And it's such a small sample size. He's the number 1 prospect entering the Reds. He should be there opening day, and he should have a great year. Possible Rookie of the Year incoming here for Marte, or even Encarnacion if he didn't graduate. Like, the Reds have a lot of fun, young players who have all seen a little bit of Major League Baseball and have actually performed in Major League Baseball. It's not just throwing a blind prospect into MLB and saying, well, good luck. No, these guys have all had at least a couple of games, whether it be, 20, 30, 50, like they've all had it. Even Will Benson, who we didn't talk about, he's had a couple of games here and there. He's had a walk-off home run against the Dodgers. If you go into the bench, Stuart Fairchild, he's only had just over a year of service time. But, he's been able to find a little bit of success here and there. All the pitchers have, like, there isn't a prospect or like someone who should be on the team that just hasn't played a single inch of baseball yet. Everyone's gotten some MLB time, and everyone's kind of performed in the little bit of MLB time. Yes, small sample sizes, but that doesn't mean it's not, like, important to succeed in the MLB, which a lot of these rookies and a lot of these young players have, even if it was just for a small, slight year, or even if it was just for one full year? Can Matt McLean, Spencer Steer, Ellie, can all three of those guys improve? Can Will Benson be there every day and perform at the bottom of the lineup? And Encarnacion Strand, Noelle Marte, Tyler Stevenson, what can he do? You know, the lineup doesn't scare me at all. I think it's the best lineup in the NL Central. The rotation, if we get a good year of Hunter Green with an ERA less than 4, I mean, that's a strong thing there. If Ricky Montes can rebound and kind of turn into Oakland A's Frankie Montes, why not? Like, there is really exciting stuff here for the Reds. You know, I've been talking about a couple TOPs. Oh, if a team is out of it, their starting pitcher, their ace, you know, end of the year, they could try to trade for it. The Reds might do that. They might trade for a Corbin Burns if Baltimore's out for some reason, or a Shane Bieber if the Guardians are out. Options here for the Reds. So really excited stuff there. The year looks promising for Cincinnati. The over-under 81.5. I believe that's the same as the Padres, and I am jumping on the over. I feel really confident in the Reds this year. The team, the rookies, like it's hard to go against that. And at only 81.5, I think it's going to be an easily over there. Not competent, not competitive at all. I feel like that's easily take the over. You're saying they're going to do just as good last year as they did this year. They're going to do way better than they did last year. With a full year of Encarnacion Strand and Noelle Marte, yeah, I will take the over on the Cincinnati Reds. And you know what? Right now, I haven't done my predictions yet, but they could be my favorite to win the NL Central. Only second behind the Cardinals right now, according to other sites. So we'll have to see on how good the Cincinnati Reds can be in 2024. But that is going to wrap up our TOP for today. Thank you, everybody, so much for listening. One more, when that will end the week, coming out at 11 o'clock today, so be ready for that. Thank you, everybody, so much, and I will see you next time.